I am so happy to be here. As I'm sharing this whole journey of transformation, redirection, reconnection to my sovereignty, today I want to share with you some of the things that have helped me get there. Let me start with the first one, which it was a life event that continues to unfold, but a life event that happened in 2019 in which I had to do a biopsy of a mass that they found on my breast. When I went there, it was during a moment in my life that everything was moving ahead. I just launched my podcast, went to an event of Will Grow. It was great. I was starting to get called to do speaking events, and I was going every weekend to do some speaking events, and everything was moving along exactly how I always wanted. I even signed a contract, PR, and everything was just moving and moving and moving. And at the same time, I started feeling this internal voice of like, this is too much. But I was not listening. Here to or recently, I used to be that person that would just keep on going. That whole aspect of being determined, of being persistent, it was so engraved in my soul that I just kept going, 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 going. And I didn't know how to stop. I didn't know necessarily the impact that it was having in me and my body. Then in that moment, when I had that reality check in 2019, June 2019, it was a big scare because in that moment, when you get the results, whether you have cancer or not, is all the way through to that point. And I didn't want cancer. Another piece is that in that moment, there was also like frustration in my life in terms of me feeling like I had to do so much and give so much free in order to get supposedly this view. It was the moment that Instagram was booming and all this stuff. And I felt like, why am I doing so much when I'm not necessarily getting stuff? So when I got that result, which it was negative, thank God, I started thinking, what if this would have been, oh, you have cancer? How everything would have shifted? What would have cared? What not? And then I started thinking, what if I started living, not necessarily as if I had cancer, but what if I started living already in that way of, wow, what's the life that I want to live? And that got me into a path. That got me into a path of listening to my body. My body was like, cancel everything. Slow down, slow down, slow down. There has to be another way. And I kept hearing, there has to be another way of doing work in life that doesn't require so much effort. Also, my son had 3, almost 4 years old when this happened. So it was also that journey of postpartum and being a mom and trying to manage it all. It was too much. So then fast forward, I found out I was pregnant. I canceled a lot of things. I continued to minimize, then the pandemic, then a lot of other things happened in my life in terms of family with illness, situations with a friend that got me and continued to like remove all these layers of conditioning and believing that I needed to do so much. But in that same journey, it was a moment of buzz woman or, lady buzz, of work hard, play hard, of the hustler. And I was not seeing any model, any representation of people speaking. And then when I started seeing people speaking about living a more balanced life, it was people that first they were a hustler and they got lots of money. And then when they were stable, then they moved into this slowing down. And I was like, that's not a sustainable model for me. I'm also like going ahead or going against different situations that got me into a position that that moment I was not in a wealthy or all of that. It got me into this journey of really exploring my connection to my truth, what I wanted. It got me into a journey of asking and questioning everything. And ultimately, it led into even deleting this English account that you all know or probably saw. Well, I didn't delete it, I just didn't post it for a long time. And it started making me question, who am I? who am I really? Who's unfolding? I felt this cocoon stage. I felt this unbecoming of all the pieces. And I know I've always talked in a way of the importance of authenticity. So it really dawned on me that I was not being completely, because there's layers that probably continue to be there out of survival of my people, out of survival of who I am and all that. So then I continue to layers and layers of unbecoming. And I went into this very dark period, or the descend. Now I learn about different way of saying it, the descend, to really question it all. And during that time is where I wrote the book. During that time is where a lot of things happen in my life and continue to happen. During that time, also the perimenopause got involved, or I was able to become aware of some of the symptoms that I was experiencing with perimenopause, and different things of continuing to become. I'm not, quote unquote, there yet. I feel like I will be, or where this is moving, and it continues to unfold. But now I feel ready to start sharing some of this. Part of that is this very deep wanting to talk about sovereignty and that inner power rooted in love. Because for the longest, all that being the empowered woman, all that kind of stuff, doing it rooted in anger, in rage, of I'm going to prove the perpetrator wrong. I'm going to prove the oppressor wrong. I'm going to prove the other person wrong by doing this, by doing that, because I do have that fire in me. I can do things. I can find things if I put my mind into it. But it was burning me. It was burning me alive. My body was feeling it, and the whole cancer scare, and continues, because I have BRCA too, so I continue to do these assessments every 6 months. And every time I have to do them, recently I had to do another biopsy, and that it was negative as well this year. So as I continue in this path, I've been like, what about me? And how can I do it out of love? How can I do it rooted in love? And other things that helped me in that journey was writing my book and reading about all this information. Via books, via the archetypes of women, the journey, the descent of the goddess, connection to divinity, connection to spirituality, the constellations, discovering and doing several to find out about different burdens that I've been carrying from my lineage, and that I continue to do out of that love for them, out of that childhood love to be part of belonging. So being able to release some of those burdens from a very honoring and respectful way, not from anger, based in love. And I love that in the family constellation, a lot of it is because of love, and so that helped. Another formation that I'm doing, I'm still learning from this lovely spiritual teacher that I feel like it's my, like being in those classes every Tuesday. It's part of my connection, is part of my reminder of the divine that is also based out of love. And learning from that teacher about taking care of my wounds out of love, principle of my wounds, and not expecting others to do something, to ask for forgiveness or any of that, but not because like I'm surrendering and being this weak person, but more because I deserve to be well. And if I wait for them, I could be waiting my whole life. So because of love and out of love, then I'm going to take care of my wounds. I'm going to be the person that is going to rescue me. I'm not going to wait for somebody else to do it. That was happening a lot in this journey of empowerment, of using my anger, my rage to root like the purpose or my why. A lot of times came with a lot of this feeling like I was better than the other, or I deserve something from the other, and it would put me in this, that would remove me from love. I believe that both can coexist. It's not an either or. But at the same time, how can I transmute it and be like, yeah, I can use the anger to give me the energy. And then how can I move it into from there to be like, if I would do this out of love for me, for my people, for my family, how would that? And what I notice is when I do it, it transforms into like this melting into my body, this feeling that I'm here, that I can feel very grounded when I do it out of love. And it continues to be this very strong force. When people think of the feminine, and I know I've shared, because a lot of times when we try to share information about feminine and masculine energy, a lot of time it looks like, the masculine is the strong force and all that. But out of the feminine, you also have that strength that come out of love. The things that we do out of love for our people, for our babies, for our children, right? It comes rooted a lot of times in love for them. And I'm also working on in love towards me. I don't need to expect my partner to provide that. I don't need to expect others, even my physical and biological parents, to do it, my earthly parents to do it. I can resource it from this divine mother archetype, the cosmic great mother earth. I can source it, and from divine father figures as well. I can do it via my own spiritual practice, but I don't need to expect someone else. And that has, the word that I'm thinking is, it has open up and release so much of the expectations and burdens of, until I get that, I won't be free, I won't be happy, I won't be, because sovereignty is within. Sovereignty is within. Not this empowerment that is to show someone else or to fight for your rights. Those are journeys that are important. But what I feel called for me right now is I'm in the stage of how can I root it in love, and how can I be it and not showing off for others, showing it off so others would see me. How can I see myself? How can I radically love myself? And that's the journey that I invite to be shared here, to be shared in my message, to help others via mentoring and coaching, via the information, via my book. That's the message that I feel so called to share. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.